Welcome into Bears Now. I am Harrison Graham. Before we get to your questions here on the show, could the Bears bring back an old fan favorite, Akiem Hicks? Report coming in from Jeremy Fowler that the veteran defensive lineman has drawn interest from multiple teams. Here's what Fowler tweeted out, saying that Hicks has had discussions with those teams and interest does remain high, but he has not made a decision whether or not to play this season per source. You guys know me. I love Akiem Hicks. He brought an edge and an intensity to this defensive line for a long time. He's put up some big numbers in his NFL playing career as well. But injury bug has kind of gotten him late in his career. Also, we saw that play out late in Chicago. That played out for Tampa a year ago. When he's healthy, he's actually still pretty damn good. But the reality is he's getting older. And look, when it comes to Chicago, right here, right now, Akiem Hicks is not going to be a Bear. Like, if he's going to come back, he's going to come back for a chance to win a Super Bowl, and the Bears are not that team, not this season. So he will not be in Chicago, but I'd like to see him sign somewhere with a veteran team that has a chance to win it all. We saw Philadelphia add a couple of defensive tackles late last season. Maybe he goes there. Who knows? But I'll always love Akiem Hicks. I know a lot of you guys do as well. So show the man some love. Get the 96 going in the comments right now. Shout out to Akiem the Dream. He's a legend, and I wish him well, whether he decides to hang it up or keep playing. I still think he can play if he can stay healthy, but that has been a concern in recent years. All right, daily basis. He says, 0-8 in the division is fireable by itself, honestly. Talking about Matt Eberflus. Yeah, man, it's not good. It's not good, especially when Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus take the podium, and Poles says, we're going to take the North and not get it back. Or not give it back. Well, you haven't won a game in the North with this head coach. So 4 more divisional games down the stretch here, 2 against Detroit, 1 against Minnesota and Green Bay. Better win at least 2 of those. That's all I'm going to say. Robert Reinert, my mock draft, Caleb Williams, Drake Maye, Spencer Rattler, Carson Beck, Jordan Travis, DJ Uiagalelei. That's funny. What Robert's trying to do here is, hey, draft all the quarterbacks so at least one of them hits. They're not going to do that. I do appreciate the commitment to the bit, but it's not going to happen. J-Rod 86. If we have the number 1 pick, I think we have to take Marvin Harrison Jr. Giants are keeping Daniel Jones, so they will definitely jump on the generational talent like MHJ. So in this scenario, J-Rod, you're saying Bears get the number 1 pick, Giants get the number 2 pick. If you trade down to 3, you could miss out on MHJ. That could happen, but that report of Daniel Jones likely returning to the Giants next year, that's financially based more than anything else. His cap hit next year, I think, is $67 million. They can't cut him. Or that's his dead cap hit, I should say. They can't cut him. No one's trading for it. So, yeah, he's going to be on their roster. But if the Giants love Caleb Williams or Drake Maye and he's sitting there when they're picking, they're going to take him because Joe Shane and Brian Dable will be entering year 3 on the hot seat there, and they're going to want a crack at their own quarterback. So, I wouldn't be overly concerned there. I'd be okay with taking Marvin number 1 overall, but if you get a huge package to move down to number 3, that's something you got to consider. Daryl Lenningham, don't give up on Fields. Build the offense around what Fields does best and let him create. I agree. I would like to see that. A guy like Greg Roman would be very interesting, but Luke Getsy, more often than not, has tried to create Fields into an Aaron Rodgers type, this rhythm, timing-based passer, and that's not who he is. You got to get him on the edge. You got to take play-action shots down the field. You got to embrace him as a runner. When he does those things, the offense moves more consistently. Yeah, Fields has to improve in the pocket. He's got to be able to know when that internal clock is going off and get the football away. He's not blameless in this stuff, but it seems like just when these two are cooking together, Getsy reverts back to, let's just do straight drop backs and not do any play action, any boots, or any of that stuff. So it's frustrating, Daryl. It's frustrating. Josh, do you think even if we get a quarterback with this coaching staff, would it matter? I personally think we could have anybody and still stink. Fair question. 7 games to go. Can this coaching staff earn the trust of Ryan Poles to coach a new quarterback or the current quarterback? We'll see. We'll see. I'm not very bullish about this staff. As you guys know, I would go in a new direction, but with 7 games left, there's still time to change that narrative. Hit that subscribe button because speaking of the draft, if they're going to take a quarterback, if they're not, We'll have all the rumors, all the news, all the mock drafts, all the draft profiles here on this channel. Good chance Bears have 2 top 5, top 10 picks, maybe 2 top 5 picks, maybe the number 1 overall pick for a second straight year. We got you covered on a daily basis between now and the draft and beyond that as well. YouTube.com/Bears Now. Daily coverage here on Chicago Bears Now. Let's go to Jaron Thomas. How many wins keeps Justin Fields in Chicago next season? It's a fair question, Jaron. If you're watching live, I'm actually doing a segment, 5 things Justin Fields must do to possibly convince Ryan Poles that he's the guy next year. And win total is one of those. I don't want to give it away here, so if you're not watching live, that video might already be published. Go check that out. If it's not, it's going to be out before the Lions game on Sunday. That is one of the 5 bullet points I dive into in terms of how many wins Fields is going to have. Dennis Wheeler, Poles likes big athletes. Drake Maye is a big athlete. Williams is not. I mean, that's kind of an underrated part of this QB conversation this year between Drake Maye and Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is 6'1", about 215. He's mobile, but he's not a burner like Fields is. And some of the stuff, especially this year, that's been glaring is it's kind of what Fields does. He holds the ball too long, so it's like, okay, I get it. Caleb Williams might have there's certain things he can do. He's probably a little better off platform than Fields is, the different arm angles, which Justin does some of that, but the way Caleb does it is pretty impressive. But a lot of his glaring issues are very similar to Justin, so that is interesting. Whereas Drake Maye, 6'5", 220, he looks like Justin Herbert. That's the comp he gets. He can rip it, make all the throws. Oh, and by the way, he's probably going to run like a 4.6. He could run as well. He ran for over 700 yards last year, and he's run a lot this year too. So he looks the part, man. There's no doubt about it. Bears Now is sponsored by Rocket Money, the best financing app out there. This has been a money-saving machine for my wife, Hannah, and I, as we got to save money. We got to budget now that we have a 7-month-old son at home who's going to daycare, and we're having to pay for that. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that will find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitor your spending, and help you lower your bills all in one place. What's cool about Rocket Money is it'll list out just subscription by subscription, all on one screen. Hey, you're paying $20 for this, $18 for this, and what you'll notice is A, you're spending a lot more per month than you think, and B, wait, I'm paying for this service? I don't use it. I don't even ever remember using it. Well, you probably signed up for a free trial 6 months ago, and once that ran out, you started getting charged on the monthly. That's how they get you. RocketMoney.com/Bears Now. You click the cancel button next to any of those. They will cancel it for you, and you are good to go. Download the app today. It's RocketMoney.com/Bears Now. Link in the live chat in the description of this video and in the comments as well. Download the app today. Use our link to support us, and your pockets are going to be supported. You can trust me on that one. RocketMoney.com/Bears Now. Unapologetic truth. Why pass up on a generational talent like Marvin Harrison? It's not about passing up on him if you get the number 1 pick. It's if you could trade down to 2 or 3, you still have a damn good chance of getting him, because I firmly believe these 2 quarterbacks are going 1-2. You can get him and still add more capital. Maybe a first next year. Maybe more day 2 picks this year. So that's the thinking there. Again, though, if they take Marvin number 1 overall, I'm fine with it. I think he's a day 1 impactful stud in the NFL. Augustine, do you think the Bears front office will have their eye specifically on Ben Johnson this Sunday in Detroit? You're not doing your job if you don't. I mean, if I'm Ryan Poles, I am keeping a close eye on this Lions offense. I'm especially against my head coach's defense. I'm watching that battle. I'm seeing the mannerisms of Ben Johnson. Does he look the part? I'm looking at all that stuff. This is almost like what do you want to call this? This is resume stuff if you're Ben Johnson. If you're Ben Johnson, you'd never say it out loud, but you got to be thinking in the back of your mind, if I cook Chicago this weekend and do it again in a couple of weeks, that team might want to hire me in a couple months. So I definitely think the Bears should have a close look on what Ben Johnson's doing this weekend. From F. Marsh, do you like Drake Maye or Caleb Williams more at this point? Got to be honest, I think I've drifted to the Rolly side, and it's for what I said a little bit ago of Caleb Williams has special ability. He does. But a lot of the issues he has are similar to Justin Fields' issues, where it's like, hey, man, you got to get rid of the ball. These kind of run-around plays, they're harder to do in the NFL. Now, Justin Fields in college didn't do as much of the backyard football stuff as Williams did. I actually think he hung in the pocket more and delivered the ball downfield at a better rate than Williams. Now, Williams' backyard football ability is incredible, and I really like him as a prospect, and I'd be fine if they drafted him. But if you want to go like with a different style, but a guy who's still dual threat in Drake Maye, who's got the strong arm, he's 6'5", can do the out-platform stuff, can scramble for first downs. Like, Drake Maye's an athlete. This is not a statue in the pocket. So I think I've drifted toward Maye at this point. I like both of them a lot, but with Caleb Williams having some struggles and Drake Maye week after week, just putting up numbers and playing well, I think I'm slightly favoring him right now. Pick a quarterback, type CW for Caleb Williams, type DM for Drake Maye. Who would you rather have? And let me just be clear, too. It's not a final answer. Very fluid situation. We got, 6 months until the draft, 5.5 months. So my answer might change 10 times between now and then. I like them both a lot. I think they're very good prospects. Just slightly leaning Drake Maye. What say you? Darnell Mooney. What's up, Moon? What do you think about drafting MHJ, getting an O-line with other first, and extending Mooney, me, and JJ, then keeping Justin Fields? That's been the scenario that's been talked about a lot. If Justin Fields can prove to you down the stretch that you can roll with him, draft Marvin Harrison, take Joe Alt or Olu Fashanu. Then you have Harrison, DJ Moore. And if Darnell, if you're willing to take a bit of a hometown discount, keep you in the slot, let's go. $10 million a year, 3 years for 30. How does that sound? And then you guys know how I feel about Jalen Johnson. You got to keep him. So, yeah, I think that sounds like a good offseason to me, especially if Fields can show some consistency here. Shout out to hashtag Team Rolly himself. It is Sam Lakhtara. He says Caleb Williams' special abilities, as Harrison politely puts it, is being able to cry on command and make himself look like a jackass. Well, that's a separate issue, Sam. But even if you're not in the draft Caleb Williams camp, which I just said I like Drake Maye more right now, he still has special talent. I mean, there's just no doubting that. I mean, some of the plays he makes every single week are incredible, but he's got flaws. He's got flaws. No doubt about it. Jason Hine, what do you think for Bo Nix? Let him sit behind Fields for a year. I will say this. If they do end up running it back with Fields, I do wonder if taking a QB on day 2 is a possibility. Now, I don't know where Bo Nix is going to go. Could he go first round? Is he going to fall to the second or third? Right now, the Bears don't have a second-round pick, which, by the way, is another reason if you trade down from one of your top picks, maybe you can recoup a second-round pick that you lost in the Montez Sweat trade, just to give you more ammunition on day 2. But, I think Nix and, Jaden Daniels I really like. I don't know what Quinn Ewers is going to do, but there's a grouping of QBs, J.J. McCarthy, although I bet he goes round 1, that you could take them if they fall to day 2 to either compete with Fields, maybe sit for a year behind Fields, and if Fields really doesn't prove it next year, then you got someone in the wings. That could also be a possibility. If you hate the Lions, I don't know where you're at, Don Burr. Get the F Don Burrs in the chat, our resident Lions fan here at Bears Now by Chat Sports. F Don Burr. F Don Burr. F Don Burr. Get the F Don Burrs going if you can't stand Detroit. All right, that's going to do it for this mailbag video. If you did not get your question answered, have no fear. We're on social media at HGramNFL on Twitter and on Instagram. We'll continue the conversation over there. Hit me up on those platforms. Same handle, different platform at HGramNFL, Twitter and on Instagram.